Many of the top African leagues are on hold at the moment as the Cup of Nations take place, which means that one of Tunisia's top clubs found themselves in Dubai recently at the Match World Cup. A number of their players had received national call-ups, while the rest got some good match practice. They were led by Radouane Fele.
It's a great way to get in shape for our upcoming matches in the Tunisian League and also for the African Champions League. It's a chance for the coaching staff to get to know these players better and an opportunity to boost morale throughout the camp.
However, the Tunisia they came from is rather different to that of a year ago. The country was, of course, the site of the first revolution of the Arab Spring.
During the revolution, of course, you react like any other Tunisian. Out on the demonstrations, you go and take a look at what's happening. Of course, you get frightened when the demonstrations turn violent, as some did. But thankfully, the Tunisian people are fully aware that they have to rebuild their country on the principles of justice, dignity and freedom. We hope this attitude can spread to all walks of life, and especially for me as a player, to football as well. Football in Tunisia was suspended for 2.5 months. We had no idea when the league would restart or even if it would begin again at all. Eventually we did go back, but no fans were allowed. When the fans were allowed in, we saw occasional violence, but we managed to get through that phase and complete the league season.
Étoile Sahel is one of the giants of North African football. Located in Sousa, a little way south of the capital Tunis, they've won every trophy Africa has to offer, including a Champions League in 2007. Though they've been in the shadow of Espérance domestically in recent years, they're still one of Tunisia's most popular teams. However, thanks to the political upheaval, the current season began only in November. But it doesn't seem to have upset the nation's players too much in the long run, according to one of Tunisia's leading football journalists.
It was a very uneasy time in Tunisian sports. Players weren't receiving their wages, and it was very difficult for the national team to keep to any sort of training schedule. It was a very difficult time, but we were lucky that the period didn't last too long. It only took around 3 months for things to return to normal. The best evidence for this is the Tunisian team going to Sudan for the African Nations Championship, the tournament for players based in Africa, and winning it. They dedicated that victory to the Tunisian people after the revolution.
Étoile Sahel didn't shine too brightly in Dubai, but once the league resumes, they'll be keen to lift their first domestic title since 2007. The national team, after reaching the quarter-final at the Africa Cup of Nations, will be looking ahead to the qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup. They'll be favourites to win a group in which they face Cape Verde, Sierra Leone and Equatorial Guinea. But the two-leg playoff which follows will not be for the faint-hearted. However, the current state of play and the current atmosphere in the country gives cause for optimism.
What's required now is more work to consolidate the reforms in Tunisian football, because Tunisian football has all the necessary football capabilities, both tactically and technically. There are Tunisian players playing at the highest level in European football and in the Gulf, so the foundation is there. All that's required is increased attention paid to the development of the youth game, and Tunisian football has to be given the necessary funding to enable it to enter the fully professional era. That's the way it should be, as opposed to the situation now.
Personally, I'm very optimistic for a bright future for the Tunisian people and for Tunisia itself. As for football, the revolution could be a great thing for the game. I hope that we'll be able to carry out all sorts of reforms and that everything will have a positive outcome in the end.